Hi, I'm Jennifer Janisch, owner of Adored Salon and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. I'm obsessed with curly hair. I cut it, style it, and extend it, and this podcast is all about my curly girl obsessions that stretch far beyond just curly hair. Hey everyone, it's me, Jennifer from Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions and Adored Hair Salon. Today I have with me Alyssa, hello, one of my star team players at the salon. Alyssa and I have been working together. How long have we been working together?
I started in October of 2020. So
oh yeah, when Chloe
almost 3
transitioned.
years.
Yes, that's right. When Chloe transitioned into the training program after she graduated beauty school. So yeah, I'm pointing over there because Chloe is still standing over there taking pictures of us. So whenever you get your fill.
Right, I know. I'm like waiting to upload.
These are the things that go on in the hair salon. As I have talked about before, while being a hairdresser, you can not only know your craft really well and you have really good skills, but you also have to be a good marketer. You have to be good on social media. You have to be okay with being on camera. I kind of throw them all in front of here. I don't necessarily love being on camera, but I've learned to enjoy it. And I always tell myself, like, I can't expect them to do anything that I don't do. So I have to put myself out there first and I got to do it. So Alyssa, let's talk about how your transition into the hair salon started. Like you and your mom, she called me one day or messaged me, one or the other, right? And you're like, I really want to be a hairstylist. What was it that your mom wasn't convinced?
I think it was more just like we needed more information. We didn't really know like what the next step was or like where I should go to school. And we just like, we were kind of like one of the only people I knew that like owned a salon and like was in our area. We're from the same town. So yeah, I think my mom was just like, wait, what do you mean you're not going to college? And I always like
not finishing out your senior year at school, right?
Yeah,
you were like,
I graduated early. Yeah, because it was COVID year, so I was like, I know what I want to do. I'm out of here, and
you were like a big cheerleader. Your mom loved that too.
I know. I mean, I did too. I was just like, it was really hard with the COVID year. I wasn't like the whole cheer world was totally different, and it just felt like me being at school wasn't the best for me anymore, being on those Zoom calls. So I made the choice to graduate early. And then I asked Jennifer, I was like, Jen, where should I go to school? Like, what was your recommendation? And then she told me Paul Mitchell, and that's where most of the girls here have gone. And yeah, that was kind of it. So we had a meeting at her house. It was like probably
it's like winter.
Yeah, it was before I had started beauty school and while I was still like finishing high school. Yeah. And she was like, of course I ended the meeting with, can I have a job? And she was like, I don't have room for you.
But we spoke for a good 3 hours.
We
the
did.
Three of us.
I got great information. And then my mom was like, you better throw that in there. And I was like, okay, I'll throw it in there. And so of course she was like, I'm full right now, but just go find another salon, work at the desk, just like get a feel for the atmosphere, the vibe, see if you enjoy it. And then like, you'll be the first person I call when there's an opening. I knew that Chloe was going to be kind of leaning into the training program after her schooling. And so I did, I went and got another job, and I'm really glad I did because I got to feel for a salon. I got to meet stylists. I got to just be in the atmosphere and see if I enjoyed it before I kind of like make the full step into being in the hair industry. So yeah, I think that meeting really helped me out. And of course I was like texting Jen, like, do you have an opening yet? Do you have an opening yet? I was like, can I please work for you? And then eventually she was like, actually, let me call you. And then I remember you were like super busy that day, and I got like a voice memo over text that was like explaining everything. You're like, actually, I have room for you. Sorry, I'm running around, but I just wanted to let you know this. And it was like the best voice memo. I was like, yes. So yeah. That's
Well,
our little story.
and that meeting when you asked me, like, it just about killed me to tell her that I was full because I just loved her personality so much. Like, she's bubbly, she's cute, she's friendly. And I was like, this girl is going to do so well in the hair world because having the personality is the first half of doing hair. Like, people will tell you all the time, your clients come back 95% for the good conversation, 5% for the good hair, but that 5% of the good hair better be
Right.
freaking amazing,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, but if you have a good relationship with them, and if there's ever any mishap or, a day you're running late, like, if you are the draw, right, they come back. And
for sure.
so in beauty school, they'll tell you, keep the conversation professional. Don't talk about your family. How can you sit with someone for 2 and 3 hours and not talk about your personal life at all? Like, it just doesn't exist. Like, we do try to keep it, like, obviously above the bar, but I always encourage people to get to know their clients because it really draws them into you. I have a lot of clients who will come back, every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, and they're like, so what's happening with so and so? What's going on with this? And what's Brad
It's like
Jr.
a
doing with
friendship.
this? Right. Yeah. You do over time create this special bond, special friendship. So if you don't have a personality and you can't talk, obviously you're not creating a bond. You're not creating any kind of friendship. And it all comes with pros and cons. If you become friends with your clients, the pro is, like, you've got a ton of really good friends. The cons are, like, now when I started cutting back my schedule and I don't get to see them all. And I felt so bad because a lot of them got really upset because I've been doing their hair for 30 plus years, so it's been a long, long career for me. So I knew that Alyssa had that personality. The other part, though, when that was the benefit to being full, was if you start with me, you have no idea what else is out there. Right. And you have no idea, like, am I feeding you a line of shit when I tell you something? Or, is this fair or not fair? What's it like to work for someone else? Like, even with my kids, they all start here when they're 12 years old and they work with me in the salon. And because I want them to have a good work ethic and I want them to be good, self providing humans. But then there comes this point where I'm like, you need to go work somewhere else and you need to go work for someone else because I feel like I'm pretty reasonable. I'm pretty nice. And you're like, she's nodding her head. She's sitting next to you, but I don't even like them to call me their boss, right? Like, we're a team first and on the same level. Just like I said, I wouldn't expect them to do anything that I don't do. So I'm usually the first to put myself out there and try something and then come back and be like, okay, guys, this is what I'm doing. It's working. Or I tried this new thing. It's working. And just experiencing someone who doesn't work like that. And because I went through so many different salons growing up and growing in my career and dealing with so many different personalities, that I feel like it's so important to experience all these different aspects because the hair world is a crazy world. So many of us salon owners are hairdressers and morph into a salon owner just because it seemed like the next thing to do, or you didn't like something that someone was doing, so you opened your own salon. And not a lot of people put stock in how hard it is to manage people, manage clients, deal with what goes on in a salon atmosphere day in and day out. I've alluded to it before. There is crazy things that happen in a salon because of the culture, because of the personalization of the services that we do, and especially curly hair clients and extension clients. How many of them come in here scared out of their mind, right? Like a curly girl has experienced so many
At
bad
least a little
haircuts.
bit of trauma.
Yeah, there's
A little bit of hair trauma.
They've had, curly girls get talked to in a way that you just don't even think is offensive or hurtful. And they come in with all those scars, right? And bad haircuts, and they want the end all be all. And usually, trust me, we are the end all be all for them. But because we know what they have gone through. And so, and then extensions, people are totally vulnerable when their hair is super fine and thinning and they're getting them for volume, not necessarily for length. If I take mine out, I feel like I just shouldn't even be walking around. But Alyssa can take hers in and out and have no problem. She has amazing hair. But so back to the original story. I knew Alyssa had the personality to make it. And she started with this other salon and she worked there. And then when we had the opening, she was more than happy to come here, which I was super grateful. And probably the other salon owner was sad to see her leave because she would have been a good asset to them as well. But now she's part of the Adored Salon. And right away, what did we start with? Extensions.
Mhm.
Even before, like when
Yeah.
you were just training, I taught you.
Yeah, I feel like even when I was like just a shampoo girl, like sometimes Chloe would be like come over here and help me, and like just like I'm the type of person where like you could tell me how to do it a million times. If you show me once, I know what's going on. So like Chloe would show me once and I'd be like, okay, I got it. Like just help her, like whatever it was tipping out the ends or whatever it was. I remember like it was one day you were like, oh, like come and help me foil Chloe's hair. It was like a Monday and I was like, okay, I mean, I've done that like twice, but sure.
Chloe was probably shitting.
No, seriously. But it was totally fine. I never like, especially when I was in school, I was very motivated to be done and start making money. Cause I mean, I'm sure if you're a hairdresser and you've been to beauty school, you know, it's like, you feel like you're almost working for free sometimes because you're doing all this hair and you're constantly working and it's 9 to 5 and it's all day. And then you have to leave there and then go to work and make actual money because you're not during your day, you know. And I get it, it's school, it's the whole, you have to go through it. But I was very motivated to go to school and get out in a timely manner and start, you know, in the industry and actually making money. So I think I just like took every opportunity I could. And when she was like willing to come in on a Monday and like show me extensions or show me how to foil or show me how to do a haircut, I was always just like, okay, I'll be there.
I did feel bad about the day I showed you how to do the haircut though. I was preoccupied with something and I was like, do this and this and this. And then I was in my phone.
No, you were,
that? I felt,
you weren't in your phone too bad. You were just starving and munching on Portillo's.
Yeah, it was kind of like a crazy day, but
I do the haircut now. So I mean,
right now, you know it.
Eventually.
As a salon owner too, and going through everything that I went through during COVID and the loss of the salon and then the build back up of the salon. When I first opened the salon, I started it with a lot of my friends. And so I really wasn't, Jackie was brand new. So it was building her clientele the old way. And, you know, word of mouth, social media really wasn't even a thing then. I mean, we're going back 10 years ago. So it just kind of started. And we would do all these different things, come up with all these different ideas to build her. And as far as cutting and stuff went, I think that Jackie felt pretty confident with it. But when I went into this, like the second era of the salon after COVID, I thought to myself, like, no experienced stylists really are coming into the salon, knocking down the door, begging for a job. And I knew that I had to go and start with beauty school, right? But I that wasn't the intention because Alyssa was already in the pot before that, right?
Mhm.
were you October of 2020 or October of 2019?
2020. So I was after the shutdown.
Okay.
Like I worked at that salon, like up until the shutdown, we shut down and then worked for a little bit. And then I think I started like a week after I put in my 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, you were pretty quick coming
Yeah.
here. So it, like the mindset of that second start was, I knew Chloe was beauty school and done and started, and I had a really like well honed in training program that I was like, okay, now I can do this with another person and another person. And this is how I'm going to build this salon back up. Whereas before it was like anybody who came here already had their clientele. And obviously has been a harder grow, but I feel like it was just the place in my life that I wanted to transition into. I found after COVID really mentoring and growing my team, like professionally, I mean, skills, like all these things, like teaching them these things that I knew allowed me to move into teaching other stylists across the US all about curly hair, curly extensions. And each door opened for a reason. And then I brought them all into these trainings with me too, right? So I was scared out of my mind, but I was always glad to have them right there with me, and so grateful that all of you wanted to do it. Were you the first one or was Chloe? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But you were like, we had I was like, you guys, I have 3 classes scheduled. Who's doing this and what? And it was like, whoever answers first gets first option. So, and I feel like you were probably the second one.
Yeah.
And so they have like held me up in so many different ways and made me grow. So it's kind of one hand washes the other. I helped you in the beginning, but you also helped me in ways that you never even knew, right? And I feel like we continue to evolve like that. Alyssa loves to listen to podcasts just like I do. That's why I started this. And I would send things to the group all the time. And then Alyssa would be like, oh, I listened to it. I loved it. And everybody would kind of be like, weirdo, you're calling us out. We didn't listen to it.
Right.
And then the one day, remember, you're like, I got the Jay Shetty book. Like, it's so good because I had sent you the Jay Shetty podcast. And I'm like, oh, Alyssa, he's just one of the hottest Indian men out there. Like, I love me some Jay. And Alyssa got the book, and I'm like, you got the book? Like, you really were invested. And the rest of the girls were like, what book? What book?
I know. And then I had a friend that I had met from that, my friend Molly that I met from my other salon. She was reading it when I was working there, and she was telling me about it. And I was like, oh, like I should read it. And I never like got around to it. And then when you showed me his podcast, I was like, I remember this book. I have to read the book. So
it was
great.
Full circle. Then we go and see Jay Shetty together in his city when he came to promote his second book. But that also just totally like filled my heart up with Alyssa. Like, I'm like, oh, her and I connect on this different level. And it's just like, and I think it just comes from, maybe it's just the way we think about things. Like, I'll wake up sometimes in the morning and I'm like, I need some extra motivation. I need something positive to get me through the day. And it's not because I'm a depressed person or anything. It's just, what's that saying? Like, you have 10,000 negative thoughts a day to your 100 positive thoughts. Like, you really have to work hard to create positive thoughts in your life, because negative comes first. I know that sounds crazy. You might be saying like, well, that's not me. That's not me. Check yourself and you will see it just really is that way. It's statistics are that that's just the way it is. So I'll wake up some days and I'll be like, whatever is the first thing that's going to pop up on my feed on YouTube, I'm going to listen to it for this reason. And because I subscribe to a lot of personal growth people, usually it's something there. But honestly, like every person always has something different to contribute. Just like you have something different to contribute to the salon than say Chloe or Celia or Jackie or Julie or London, right? And I'll just put on that YouTube and I'll listen to it. And then it puts me in a better mood. It pushes me to do my best. It pushes me to give 120% in a day when I might only feel like giving 20%. And in the salon atmosphere, that personality, like it's a small space in here. Can be a lot of people in here who can also be feeling that same way, because as law of attraction has it, usually we're all synced up once a month at the same time, having the same vibes. And so, as the salon owner, I work to make sure I, a lot of the time, feel responsible for the vibe that's going on in here. I don't like if someone feels less than someone else, or I'm really in tune, I think, with people's feelings and their actions. So if I am not at that 120%, I'm really not going to be able to help anyone on my team either. And some days it happens like that, but you're always there with a good smile and a good.
I think like for me with the whole like podcast, like personal growth thing, I think at this point it's just kind of like a part of my morning, like that I just like am like, okay, like no one's home at my house. It's just me here. Like I have some time in the morning to like wake up a little bit earlier just so that I can just be, and it's not just like I wake up, get ready for work, go home, eat dinner, go to bed. Like it's just like a time where like I can just like be and like feel grounded before I like go in, because I feel like almost part of like society nowadays, especially in the US, is just like you wake up, you go to work, that's just how it goes. You wake up, you get ready. Like I feel like from everything that I've learned through like digging for personal growth and digging to find more information about like living a better life, has just been like creating better habits and like making sure that you take time out for like yourself so that you can eventually be there for other people. And for us, that is when we go to work, be for our clients. And because I mean, it can be a lot being a hairdresser, like getting all this information. And of course you want to get close with your clients, but then you're also getting like their problems with it. So it's like, if you're good in yourself and you woke up, had your time, like did what you wanted to do for your morning, spent it in the way that's best for you, I feel like when I come to work, I'm just much better
and prepared.
Much better. I feel better. I'm in a better mood. I feel better for my clients.
We touch them too.
Yeah.
So like that's the one thing that's so different from any other profession. A dentist uses tools, right, to touch your teeth. A doctor uses pretty much how do I say that? Stethoscope. Right, listen. And like they don't even have to touch you when they're using that, right? So those are the two other professions that are kind of all in your business. Whereas with hairstylists, we are physically touching your head. When we're doing your hair, when we're styling your hair, when we're washing your hair, like there's this whole
like energy transfer
it
almost,
really
if you want to get into it.
Like we've gone through days, and because we do extensions, it's quite possible that we will start at 9 a.m. with one client and end that client at 4 p.m. and we have been with them all day. We talk about everything in that amount of time, and we know as stylists a lot about their lives. And early on in my career, I'll never forget, I don't even know how Brad is still with me to this day, because I would talk up to him about my clients and I'd be like, oh my God, you can't believe that this happened to so-and-so. You can't believe that this happened. Oh my gosh, this happened. And he never said it to me, but there was one day in my life, and I think it was honestly when I started in this personal growth journey, I was like, I got to stop talking about their shit, because their shit now has become my shit. Like, and I'm worried about them after hours, and this, I just can't do that. And it is easier for me now to kind of like
Kind of put an end
put
to
it,
it at
yeah,
the
like
end of
when
the day.
I say to myself, like when I walk out the door, like I'm leaving that there, right?
Just like you kind of have to do before you walk in too. It's like,
Yes.
kind of, if something, I mean, life happens, we always say that, like, that's never going to be every single day you wake up and you're 120%, you know? So it's like, we also have to kind of leave, like what's going
Our
on in
junk
our life. Yeah,
at the
our
door.
right. Because then you don't want to be, oh, this happened, blah, 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 like negative to your client too, you know? It's like, you want to bring in as much positive as you can, and then leave kind of as much I don't want to say negative, just harder things to talk about here when you leave.
Yeah.
So that you can go
And
home and have
nothing makes a problem more worse than getting 14 opinions as to why it's an awful situation. The worst. Like, I remember if something would bother me when I was younger, and I would talk about it. And I used to do like anywhere from 10 to 20 people in a day. I would see so many people. And by the time I got to the end of the day, the problem was so much worse
Oh yeah.
than when it started. And I was so much more angry in my head than when I started.
More talking than action,
Yes.
you know?
My mouth would hurt because I would just be like doing the blowout and being so mad about the situation and like
trying to make a choice.
Yeah.
Whatever needs to happen.
I totally did not serve myself well. So this way is so much better. And this thought process about, you know, being personalized situation, we touch them, we're with them, we learn everything and a lot more than we probably should ever know about them. But it is a really good practice to try to leave it at the door of the salon. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. My husband, Brad, knows way more about my clientele than they would ever dream that he would know.
And he probably he's like, oh, who is that? Like Susie or whatever. And he has no idea who Susie is. Like,
but he knows her whole life.
He could walk in and Susie could be in your chair and he would have no idea that's Susie.
Right? Yeah, no. But the other good thing about having all these clients, just today, I was at the dentist and I got this message. So this is like small town, not that we're a small town.
Smaller.
Like 50,000 people here, right? I think it's about. But one of my clients, so real quick on me, and I think I touched on this in the first podcast, was like, I came to Lombard when I was in 5th grade. I've been here ever since. I have 4 kids here. They all go to school here, you know, big community, small community, whatever you want to call it. But when you're that invested in it, and one of my clients was like, I think I saw your daughter on a hoverboard yesterday over by Yorktown Mall. I don't know if you let her go that far on a hoverboard. And I was like, what? Right. But that's how much our clients know about us too, right? So then I'm checking Life 360 and I'm like, where was she? Well, they're not thinking it was Father's Day. She was really with us almost all day long. So end of story, it wasn't her, but it was like, if it had been her and that client reached out to me, I would have gone home today and been like, what are you doing over by Yorktown Mall and on a hoverboard? Like
how'd you figure that out?
Right? I always say that to my kids. I'm like, you guys have no idea who knows you in this town. It's a lot of people. Their eyes are on you. And I think it's the same for you. Your mom has so many friends in Lombard. So many people know your mom.
Here for however many. I mean, he's never moved anywhere else.
Like, you can't get away with anything in Lombard.
Yeah,
that's probably why you go to the city all the time.
You know, I'm like, I want to go to the grocery store, and like, as much as, you know, it is like good for our business for me to like go to the grocery store and see someone I know, like, I want to go to the grocery store and have everyone be like robots. Like, I don't know anyone. Like, I just want to do with my cart and not know a single human, because I feel like I'm a very social person, but like this industry, I mean, it does take a lot for me. Like when you're talking all day, I mean, we're talking on here, like just talking all day. And like, like I said, I'm a social person. I enjoy it. But like when I get home and in the morning, like don't talk to me. I don't have words to say. Like this is like, it's a thing. Like I just have to kind of zoom sometimes because
Brad won't even go to the grocery store with me anymore.
you're like, hey,
He's like this,
walking through the hallways at high school, like
yeah, and even if I don't know someone, he's
they
like,
say something about your hair.
did you have to give them the whole rundown about your hair? Like,
Yes.
if someone tells you that they like your hair, don't say, oh, thank you, it's 5 days dirty. Or he's like, they don't care about that. I'm like, actually, they care about that. They want to know everything there is to know about my hair. They wouldn't have stopped me.
Right.
And he's like, I'm just
walking billboard.
not going with you to the grocery store.
Yeah, you're like, fine. I'll chat by myself.
Fine. Well, yeah. But honestly, though, I gotta say, like, that is one of those places. So even if you do move away, maybe you just have to step into our Jewel once a month.
But like, here's the thing. Like, if I walk into a grocery store and like it's in another town, let's say I move out because it's coming.
That's a good idea.
But
too.
like, let's say I move out and like someone were to stop me about my hair or like say something,
pull them in,
like whatever. Of course, I would like give them a rundown, But it's like it's when like I'm saying like this friend's mom and that friend's aunt and this friend's son, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like. I came in sweatpants and my slippers, and I really would just like some bacon for breakfast. Like I just,
that's the thing. You can't go in your sweatpants and your like.
No, but I
you really have to have your full on makeup and your
right.
Not that that's a requirement for me, but like it does help if you're a walking billboard for yourself.
Yes.
So Alyssa has to move 20 miles away in order for her to not be the walking billboard. But what you'll come to soon realize is that you're always your own walking billboard, right? How many times do I say that? I don't want to hear that you don't like sales because you're always in the business of sales. I don't care if you're a hairdresser, a dentist, like Chloe said earlier, working at the pizza place, creating t-shirts, a mechanic, like you are always selling you as a person. So you're always there again, like me and Alyssa listening to that positive growth. We do not walk through that grocery store like grumboids.
No,
you have to be smiling, happy. And it's just such a better way to be. Like,
that is a good point that you said too. Like if you put on a cute outfit and go to the grocery store, like you have a different walk, like, you have a different like shopping cart, like you're on your way, like it is like when you kind of get up, if you have that routine, and go get ready and go to the grocery store and you're running errands and you look cute and put together, like when someone comes up to you like that, you're like, oh yeah, like you're just like happy to be there, you're on journey. Like I feel like that's a huge trend right now, is like looking cute at the grocery store, or like looking cute and like going to the coffee shop or like whatever it is, because when you look good, you feel good.
You feel good. So you know what you need to add to your morning routine? My chiropractor told me this. It is 100% true, right? So in the winter, we live in the Midwest. In the winter, which starts in about October and runs through at least
February, March.
Yeah, mid-March. It's cold. We hibernate in our houses. If you walk outside, great. I don't like to be cold. So, I mean, I'll try, and we have 2 dogs, so we do try to walk our dogs. But my chiropractor says, and this, I love these giant zinnias. I plant 5 flats of them every year, and they start out as little babies and then they grow and grow and they get like to scientific size, because the spot in my backyard is perfect for them. But so to the story is, I water them every morning and every night, most of the time through the summer when it's super hot, because we'll go like it'll be 60 degrees and then all of a sudden it's 90 degrees or 100 degrees, crazy hot sun.
Chicago for you.
You have to stand in the grass barefoot. And I do it when I water my plants. It's like the only time, and it takes me a good 15 to 20 minutes. But the chiropractor said that, and this might sound woo woo and sound crazy, but I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to have a really good day if you start this, if you have this practice in your morning, standing barefoot on the ground pulls the positive energy from the earth into your body. And it gives you a sense of energy that you just can't get inside, right? And then I'm sure the sun and the vitamin D contribute, but there is something to that barefoot in the grass kind of feeling, like your feet just feel good in that squishy grass. Like you can't help but smile and pray to God you're not stepping on any spiders or anything creepy like that. But it does. It like if I put in my AirPods, I listen to a good positive podcast, or I listen to something on YouTube, or I listen to nothing but just what's going on around me. And I water those flowers. I have hummingbird feeders every now and then. It makes my day when the hummingbirds come over, because they say that there's a sign of good luck. So of course I love to draw them in. And if you haven't figured this out about us by now, we are all about good luck, good vibes, happiness. Create your own happy.
Very big on energy.
So
like
big.
The second a client sits in my chair, I can totally like just feel the energy. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, or sometimes I'm like, oh, or sometimes I'm like, oh, like you're so happy, free, like, you know what I mean? And I have that of like where I go eat my breakfast outside. I don't ever put on shoes because I'm like, whatever. I just
don't have the time.
My backyard. I'm just like gonna eat my breakfast out there. But like I just totally realized that if I don't have that, like, and I have to be alone when I do this too. Like I have to, like, if I do it with another person, regardless of who they are, I find a difference in like me having like a better day, because like I'm in my solitude, I'm outside, the sun is shining in the summer, not but yeah, it totally changes everything about my morning. Like it's crazy. And every time, like if I shower in the morning too, and I finish with like 30 seconds of like freezing cold water, I know this is like so crazy to some people, and some people are like, yeah, you're crazy, but I totally see that changing my day too, because it's just like, if this is the hardest thing that I have to do today, like we are good, I'm gonna sleep good, I'm gonna feel good, like my brain is all kind of leveled, like I don't know what it is about that, and like just having time outside in the morning.
Have you ever heard of the cold plunge?
Oh yeah, I mean it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
I would totally do it if
they have the portable ones. Huh. You can buy them on Amazon.
Do you have to put ice in them,
or? My client Lisa has one, and she has it like, her kids are grown, so there's extra bathrooms, but she has it like in that shower.
Oh
right?
yeah.
But you and Rachel bought one, my trainer.
Super good for your body.
Yeah,
good for your
I'm
mind,
sure
you know
it seals. And I asked Lisa, like, how do you keep it regulated? I'm sure she probably dumps ice in there, and it just, she just
I just turn all the way
do too. I like that cold.
It's good for your skin too. Like I don't know what it is, but in the morning, that cold. But I'm a very like hot shower taker too. So like it's, except when I'm washing my hair, because my baby. But but like if I am always at the end of my shower, it's like freezing cold water for, even if it's just like 30 seconds on my back, 30 seconds on my face, like that's all I need to just be like, you could do it. It's freezing cold, you're uncomfortable. But like I said, if that's the hardest thing that I have to do today, then like, it's a great day.
This is good. Yeah. That's a good way. Good thought process, right? It is. And I think too, with those clients, like when you said about the vibes, like, I always feel, I remember, because when I started doing hair, I was 17 years old. Like I had graduated beauty school before the second semester of my senior year. I was so young, and people would come in. I remember one time this woman was like, that baby is not touching my hair. And I was just like, it'll be the best haircut you ever got. Meanwhile, internally, like, I was shitting bricks. Right. Yes, I was dying. And at that time, podcasts and all this other stuff really wasn't a thing. And I was definitely a fake it till you make it kind of a girl. And
It's the only way
it was just like,
you know?
yeah, you just made it through. But I always felt like once I could get them past the consultation and do a shampoo, they were mine because I was so good at
Yes.
shampooing. Like, and I would say the same for you. Like
Yeah.
your shampoos are like rock star work.
Like I have people that will literally tell me like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's a good haircut, it's a good style, it's a good color, whatever. But like
They
if
always
you
say,
initially have confident hands as soon as your client walks in the door, like if you're like shampooing, like they're like, oh God, this is gonna be
this is gonna be
horrible.
terrible.
Then they're like, you can feel their energy and then making you more nervous. Like if you give a good shampoo right off the bat, especially with curly hair, because that scalp needs the love.
scrub.
Yeah, but like especially with the curls, if you give a good shampoo, they are so much more likely to trust you. Like if your finger pads are directly on their scalp and you're not just like wimpy, like no, like you need to be
You're not
in
like
there.
this.
No, like
You're
on
like
top of the hair.
this.
Yes. Like I, especially with my own hair, like I feel like the way that I wash and take care of my hair like on wash day is the reason why I'm able to like have it grow so long, is because like exactly how I wash my hair, and I'm crazy about it, is exactly how like I wash my clients' hair in the shampoo bowl, because I know all the spots that I feel on my own head that I'm like, I know I like it's easy to miss this spot. Like I know where my clients could potentially be missing at home. So if you hit every spot confidently and your hands are confidently, like immediately off the bat, they're going to trust you. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel more confident. And it's just going to be a better process for you and your client.
Yeah.
All starts there.
It all starts there. It's like even with my kids are so young, right? When they start here. And my son was the first out of my kids who worked here because he's the oldest. And the one girl who was here, she gave amazing shampoos. And it wasn't that, well, I didn't want to train my son because I'm his mom and we all know how that goes. Like, I don't really know anything in his eyes, right? But the cute blonde stylist that knew how to give a really good shampoo, who was closer in age to him, he was definitely going to listen to her way more than he was going to listen to me. And the only reason that it was her and not Alyssa was Alyssa's younger than my son. So she wasn't of working age. And so, and that was, that was the beginning of the salon. And she taught him how to shampoo. And he gave one of the most amazing shampoos. And I think it was because his hands were so much bigger than all of ours. And he really enjoyed it. And he figured out that if he did that well, he got paid well, right? Yeah. Like he was like, and
those $20 shampoo tips start rolling in.
My son, he was like, I was the best tipped shampoo person there when he was here. And my daughters have so much to live up to and big shoes to fill because of how good he was at it.
Right. Especially with your clients who have been here.
Yeah, and they all still ask about him. But the problem with Brad was that Brad loved to do shampoos and make that money. He did not like to clean. Oh my gosh, like to assist with him or be a star. He would shampoo your clients and then he would totally take over your haircut and talk to them the entire time. And I'd be like, Brad, can you go like clean the, and he would say, Ivy, can you do that? And that was Jen and Don's daughter.
Oh gosh.
Ivy could not stand him because he was such a pain in her side. But he learned that about the shampoos. And he learned how to just really swoon them that way, right? Like he really learned how to.
This is kind of like bringing me to like when I first started here, and I didn't like shampoo anyone so I wasn't a shampoo girl at my last salon. I only worked the desk. I was answering the phone, cleaning, stuff like that. And everyone at my last salon shampooed their own clients. So when I first started working here, that was like my first situation, shampooing other people's hair. So like initially off the bat, it's like kind of scary at first, like, you know, like you don't want to spray anyone, it's going to happen regardless. But I think the biggest thing is like, if you're a stylist training people right now, it's like, you have to, I've just learned this from you, like you have to put your like stylist on the spot necessarily. Like you have to, like, if you, Jen will always say, like, if I give you too much time to think about it, like it's just gonna make you less confident. Like I remember starting out in the training program and just like you would like I remember starting out here as a shampoo girl, and the next thing you know, like Jen's head was in the bowl and she's like, shampoo me. And I was like, huh? Like, no. But like, of course I didn't say, I was like, okay, you got it. And I was shampoo and she's like, no, do it like this. Like immediately off the bat, I was like put on the spot. And then ever since then, like I've never been afraid to shampoo anyone. And that goes along with like, I'm still in school and she would be like, I don't have time to do this full foil. She needs a full foil. Like, come help me. Wouldn't give me more than 4 seconds to think about it. So the next thing you knew, I was stirring bleach ready to do the back of the head. Like if you give your, I'm trying to think of the word, like you're my mentor, what am I? Like you're,
yeah, like I think it's, I like it. Okay, this is gonna sound totally TMI or just kind of a personal thing, but like you go for a bikini wax,
yeah,
and your toes are curling before you even get out of your car to
right,
get in there.
because you're thinking about it.
You're
you know?
thinking
like,
about the pain associated with it, and it's a physical pain there, right? But like
this is like
there's
just
a mental
like,
pain.
I'm
Like
gonna leave a foil
if I
liner.
would have texted you the night before and been like, Alyssa, I'm gonna need your help today with this coloring process.
Oh, I
would
probably
have been,
wouldn't have slept.
you would have been puking in the morning.
Like
or
now, obviously different,
Right,
but like
right.
when they're starting off, they're scared. Like it's scary to
Yeah.
touch someone else's hair, especially a client that you've been doing for 15 plus years. Like I don't want to mess something up. And so I feel like it really helped me grow as a stylist when I was just put on the spot, no time to think about it. Just get over here. You know what you're doing. Like that shows that like you as a mentor believed in me or whatever the situation is. Like you knew that I could do it. So if I had more time to think about it, I would just be like, I can't do it. I can't do it, blah, blah. But the next thing you knew, I was foiling the back of the head. So like, I just feel like I grew a lot from just doing it rather than
worrying about it.
Worrying about
stressing
doing it
about
the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot I used to do that.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't have to do that.
Chloe
that much
too.
anymore.
Like Chloe and I have like, cause now we're just like, okay, like sure, I'll come on over. But I've built up that confidence to like not worry necessarily about that. Like whatever it is, we're gonna figure it out. There's enough people in here for us to like collaborate and figure everything out. So
and we do work like a team like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
feel
for
like
sure.
filling in the gaps of where someone is either running behind or they're not as strong in that, and we discuss things or we don't discuss things and we're like, let's get this party rolling.
It's like a system. Like as soon as like I don't want to say one person is slacking because I think we're all very on point, but I think it's like the second someone needs help, it's like it's really no big deal. Like very, very simple example. It happens all the time in here, but like very simple. Just this past Saturday, like this girl came in for a haircut with Jackie and she had a ton of hair and she was getting a blowout after, and Jackie was double booked. Like we're busy in here. That's just kind of how it goes. So Jackie was running a little bit behind for her first client's blowout that she was going to do after this haircut and blowout that she had right now. And she was like, and her client had to be somewhere. So I was like putting a deep treatment on my client's hair. So I had an extra 15 minutes and she was like, can you just blow dry her while I finish this up so she can be at her appointment on time? And it was like totally smooth. Like it's never a big deal. We always figure it out. Like that's just a very simple example of it. But like definitely the team atmosphere of like just picking up where you can, where like, because we all fall behind or we all like don't have enough time sometimes to do things. So I think it's very efficient for us to just kind of like pick up like wherever, and it's not like we're like, that's not my job. Like no, I feel like none of us are like that. Like we just, it's just like a revolving.
Honestly though, like if I heard that, I'd probably blow a gasket. So but it's so important to me to have that effort in here. I could not be more grateful than to hear that type of a story and that perspective too, because I feel like, you know, a salon goes through, like I explained, there's all these different things that happened throughout the last 10 years. But the main thing when I started was customer service, right? And it's, I want to say like the customer is always right, but not the customer is always right type of thing. The stylist is always the person whose back I'm going to have first regardless, because I know that I have put so much energy into the fact of customer service, and good customer service means doing whatever it takes to make things run smoothly. Like you go to the Ritz-Carlton and you expect so much more than the Motel 6, right? Like they're going to have your tea ready for you or your coffee or whatever. And everyone's going to say hello to you. They're going to know your name. And that's how I always wanted it to be in here, is seamless, effortless, like no problem. Even if it is a struggle, you jump in, you get through it. And I feel too, again, I wouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do for you either. Right. So
I don't think anyone here really would. Like we all constantly mix bleach for each other. We all like, I never really saw that at like other salons that I've been to. Like, I don't, like, even when I was younger going to salons, like I never saw people, like it was always just kind of like individual like businesses within a business. And even though that is true with us, like we are individual people and bring different things to the table, it's like if you have like 30 seconds to mix me more bleach and I can keep going until the bleach is brought to me, you know, it's like, why not? Or like if you need a tail comb and I have a second and you need to, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just little things like that like I feel like some people in this industry would get upset by, like if someone else was like I'm not your assistant, blah blah blah. Like, you know what it's just like we are all, I don't want to say each other's assistants, but we all just like work in that
manner.
Yeah, we work in that way.
I feel like it's humbling, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody
is above
nobody is above anyone, and it keeps the wheel rolling, it keeps things running smooth, and it makes my heart so happy. Like because I've worked in every different type of a situation, and surely during COVID when everything went south, I could have just been like, you know what, forget it, I'm in it for myself. This is too hard. This hill that I'm gonna have to climb is gonna be a rough one. But I knew from my past experiences that I work better as a team than I do by myself. I can bring more to the table with an army behind me, or I shouldn't say behind me, beside me, because that's how I feel about everybody, is like so much more can get done when everybody is equal and everybody has the same goals in mind. It just, everything gets achieved so much faster and so much better than if I was one, right? And
it's just so much more of a collaboration.
Yeah, and I feel like it just makes things so much less scary.
Mhm.
You can't, you heard us say about clients being scared when they come in with curly hair, vulnerable with extensions. To make that process happen smoothly, it really does take an army. It really and truly, it is a lot of work for one stylist. So many times I'll be like with my clients, I know I've got them coming in for the extension install, it's a new hair, and someone has time to root and low light the extensions and tone them. They're happy to fill up empty time on their book, get content, do something other, and they're making money for that process too. It's not like I'm holding it all, like it's all being shared. They're taking that on as their service. I could just never imagine trying to run the entire operation on my own. I'd lose my mind just with the scheduling alone. Like the scheduling, the calling back and forth, the messages, the emails, so much goes on in the salon that never existed before. And you really do, I feel like, in order to keep your sanity, you need a lot of help to make it go, just like life in general. It doesn't, we don't like to run life by ourselves. We have partners and friends and siblings and cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents, because it makes things better, right?
Yeah, as long as you have good people in your life that are willing to, like, I don't know, like our salon family is just, everyone is so willing to, like I
Help
said,
out.
pick up where someone has left off, or pick up where you could just, anything it is. Like, even if it's like Jen is running 5 minutes late, which would never happen, right? But even if she's running 5 minutes late and
I'm
don't
the worst
have,
offender of that.
right, like if I don't have a first client of the day, or I get here early and I could just set you like a foil comb, some foils and some clips, because I know that you have like a full foil, and all you have to come in is mix your bleach and like it's already there. Like, why not?
Yeah. It's the
Whatever it
best.
is, it's just, why not? Or vice versa. Like, let's say Jen gets here early, which
Because I start at 10 a.m. and you guys start at 11 now.
So-
So I am I'm before you.
I know.
Before you.
I text on Friday, like, I'm running a couple minutes late. We're just
I didn't
walking
even
in
see
together.
it
I know, we're
because
just
I was
walking
like
in
probably
together.
stressing out myself.
I know, I'm here at 9:02 and I'm like, no, not at all.
No. It all runs smooth. So
Right.
well,
Yes, the message is like, I don't know, if you're working in the salon and you can pick up where someone is like in need of a little pick me up, then why not just be the person to kind of get them some foils or mix them some bleach or whatever they need.
go stand outside with your shoes off. I don't know.
Yeah, take a cold shower.
Right? Make it the hardest part of your day, not the
Yeah.
worst. All right.
Meditate.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
guys.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye.